Hi guys, this is EBPMAN with tabletsforme.com, and today we're going to do a hardware comparison between the third generation iPad, also known as the new iPad, to the iPad 2 and the first generation iPad. Let's start our test. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a cold boot start. So again, these are completely powered down. We're going to see how quickly the iPad 1 compares to the iPad 2 to the iPad 3 in just starting up. Again, cold boot. All of these iPads are running the same version of iOS 5, I believe it's 5.01. So let's see how quickly they'll start up. So let's just get our fingers there, and then we'll do this one first. Get everything ready. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So once again, first generation iPad, second generation iPad, third generation iPad. iPad 2 was the first to start up, which is a surprise. And it powered down, which is normal. And surprisingly, the iPad 1 and the iPad new started up at the exact same time. You saw that. Now that's a surprise. So the next test is the iPads have already been booted. Now they're in sleep mode. Let's see how quickly all three of them will turn on and allow us to get some access. The other thing is that people have been talking about how with the new processor, the iPad new is very smooth. They say it's almost like smooth like butter. So let's see what the difference is as we navigate and just slide from left to right and after we turn it on. So let's see how that works. Alright, so they kind of all turn on at the same time. Why don't you select that one? So as you can tell real clearly between these two, and even with the iPad, the turning on or the navigation isn't that much difference. If I were to move from left to right, if I were to do that on these, is there any noticeable difference? I don't think so. So even as you compare these two, which are almost set up identical, again, this is the iPad 2 versus the next generation iPad. Let's watch that again. I don't know if you could really say that there's that significant of a difference. Maybe there's a slight lag here, but not enough for me to get overly excited about this iPad. Again, comparing it to the first generation iPad, once again, very, very similar experience. So the next test we're going to do is all these three iPads are connected to the same Wi-Fi network, and we're just going to see what's the experience, just average use. What's the experience of opening up a web page? So let's go ahead and launch Safari. We're going to launch Safari on all these devices. We're going to try to do it at the exact same time to see if there is a significant difference between launching Safari, and then what we'll do is we'll look at the actual navigation as we go to different web pages. All right, let's go ahead and let's do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was launching Safari. Yeah, the iPad first generation was a little bit slower, but was there that much of a difference between the iPad 2 and the iPad new? You be the judge of that. Let's try now going to a website. First test is going to CNN.com. Let's go ahead and put our fingers there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the iPad new actually was a little bit faster than the actual iPad 2, and you can tell that the first generation iPad took a little bit longer to load. But once again, not that significant of a difference. All right, next test is let's go to MSN.com. Let's get our fingers there ready. 1, 2, 3. The iPad 2, the iPad new actually was there just a fraction of a second faster, but you saw again the experience between the three iPads. Let's try another website. Here's another website test. Let's go to cnet.com. Let's get ready. 1, 2, 3. And again, not bad for the first generation iPad. Definitely the iPad 2 and 3 got to the page much faster. All right, let's try now one last website. We'll try tabletsforme.com. Let's get ready with that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, definitely the iPad first generation was the slowest, followed by the iPad 2, followed by the third generation iPad. Now, one of the things that I didn't highlight, but I think is pretty, it will come out on the video, is that the color treatment on a lot of the images, and you'll notice here on the yellow, is more orangey, and the iPad next generation, or new, is more true to the website. So it's more of a yellow than it is an orangey yellow. This one's more like a darker color. So there you see it. That's the comparison between the performance of the actual iPad 1, 2, and 3 for website navigation. Well, browsing on the internet wasn't that significant of a difference. There was really no major wow factor there. Apple has touted the graphics capability of their new A4 chip when it comes to gaming. Let's see how quickly these three iPads can load a game. So we're going to look at Shadowgun. Alright, let's get everything ready. Stop it. Alright. So Apple's touted its new processor really makes a significant difference when it comes to gameplay. So let's see how these iPads all respond to loading a game with high definition graphics. Let's go into Shadowgun. So here the next gen iPad actually started up first, followed by the iPad 2, but again the difference wasn't that significant, and then you have the first generation with it. Let's choose play and see how we continue to see the performance. Go ahead with that one. And let's do Shadowgun. So far as you can see, as I'm tapping through the screens, the experience is pretty similar. We'll do a resume. Third generation iPad is there first. But again, the iPad 2 is not that far behind. And now we're looking at the iPad 1, which is at a different place in the game, but still big difference in speed of just getting to the game. The other thing that you'll notice, and we'll flip this around for a second, I'll move the first gen iPad out, is there is somewhat of a difference in colors. So the graphic quality of the next gen iPad is better than the first gen iPad. I have different brightness levels, so that may be a little bit misleading, but the actual detail is a little bit better. Is it crazy difference? I don't know. To me, it's really hard. The iPad 2 has a great screen, and I haven't been really taken by the iPad next generation new when it comes to its screen quality. But once again, you can see how fast it is to load the games in all three versions of the iPad. Let's look at taking photos. So we'll look at camera speed. Camera quality is not a fair comparison because the lenses are different, but we'll see how quickly these two iPads take pictures. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3. I don't know, that was pretty fast. Let's bring up the picture now. See how quick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that seemed to be close, real close. Let's try zooming in. 1, 2, 3. There is some difference, if you notice, and it may not come out in the video, but the table is coming out darker brown on this camera, and on this side it's coming out a lighter brown. There is some differences. I don't know how visible it's going to be on the recording, but there is more detail coming out on this picture than on the picture with the second generation iPad. But both cameras are very fast. I don't really use the iPad for picture taking, but again, if that's something that you're interested in, that's how quickly they both work. So the next piece that we'll look at is another common function or feature in the iPads. And this is, if you are a significant book reader and that's why you're getting an iPad, well, what's the difference in the experience? Can you actually have a different experience or a better experience on the iPad 3 versus the iPad 2 compared to the iPad 1? So let's just do some basic things. I have a Princess of Mars open, and we're just going to turn pages just to see what the experience is. So let's go ahead and flip. We'll do that again. If I go back, I really can't say that as you're going from each one of these iPads, that just, if you're a reader, that it really makes a difference which iPad you have. The experience is pretty good. So if you're looking at book reading, I don't see that there is a reason to get an iPad 3 if that's really what you're looking to do.